Hi guys, I hope you're all doing well today. Today's blog is going to be on tips of advice for people when they first start college. This tips of advice is more going to be for HNC Social Science students, but some of the advice that I'm going to give in this may help for those on level 5, 6 HND courses and on other types of courses too. This is from what I did in my HNC when I first started last year. So I'm going to be talking about the first semester because obviously all the assignments you do in the second semester and all the work later on isn't relevant just now, but I'm going to give some advice on what I did my first semester and what benefited me best and all that. So I hope you guys enjoy this and make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more content. Obviously, depending on the college course you do, all college courses are different, so some will be really intense to begin with while others won't get intense till later on. But I found that HNC Social Science really hit different to level 5 and 6, because the thing with level 5 and 6 social sciences, as it was hard, there was challenges in it, but I found the challenges didn't start to come into second semester, even well, not third semester, what am I talking about? There's only 2 semesters in a college term. So I suppose we can maybe say first term, between summer and October, I guess, August, October time. I suppose you can say that's first terms. The first part of college, it's pretty simple. The second part gets a bit harder, and you get to second semester, and whoa, you get a lot of workload at once. But HNC just hits you straight away because number one, they're always talking about universities and applying. That can be really daunting. So you're trying to think what you want to do with your life, thinking, what am I going to do next year? Because level 5 and 6, you knew you're just going to move up to the next social science level, so you had it all sorted with that. If you're still enjoying it, that was. When you come to HNC, you have to start thinking of even more long-term decisions. You have to think if you want to go for HND or uni. But because the HNC workload is so intense, some people end up changing their mind with HND halfway through. So it's you got to think of alternative decisions in case the pressure gets too much. So all the university talks and all the workshops can be very overwhelming, as the jump from level 6 to HNC is massive and the content is already a lot higher than what it would have been even a good few weeks into level 5 and 6. So you'll feel it as soon as day one, basically. The lectures are very fast paced, they have to fit in so much information at once, and you find that it's just a lot of information dumping, so there's so much they have to get through compared to level 5 and 6. So you find that half the time your brain's going, whoa, it's going mad because there's so much information being thrown at you. Which is why they give you tutorials as well, so you have time to ask questions in them and interact with other people so that you can understand the information more. But I find HNC can be so overwhelming to begin with, so I thought it'd be good to give some tips for advice on how to study best and how to get through it for the first part of it anyway, which I'm going to do since HNCers will be in the first part of their course at the moment. So they won't be at assignments till after the October break. So it's best to just focus on parts at a time. So when it comes to HNC, it's social science anyway. It's usually split into 3. You have a day of lectures, a day of classes, and a day of tutorials. Basically, lectures just like an information dump. Like I said, they're just giving out all the information for those classes those days, and you find the information they're giving you will link to the tasks or the group tasks that you're doing on the Thursday. So it's very important that you listen to that information. But because it's been online the last few years, it gets recorded, which is really good. And I presume they're still sticking with that because that did help a lot of students, to be fair, having the recordings to look back on, which helped with assignments and all that. Then Tuesday was just classes. These are just these were the ones that weren't so essential. You still need to pass them to get your HNC, but they weren't lengthy. The A and B units in methodology are your most important units. That's the ones that'll be graded on. The A and B units you choose, they'll grade on 2 of your strongest ones, and then methodology of it being 40% worth the grade. But then you've got your other classes, so usually these classes will only be worth 1 credit because they're just extra classes you've chosen alongside your other HNC classes. So in these classes, they'll probably teach you content, they will give you tasks to do, they'll give you group work, it'll just be a mix of stuff basically. And then Thursday's tutorials, which I said links to the Monday classes. Usually on Thursdays, there'll be a lot of group work, there'll be a lot of interacting with our students. You'll get tasks from the lectures. This will be your dedicated time to ask questions to lectures, get help. So that's what Thursdays are dedicated to. So first I'm going to talk about lecture day, which on lecture day you don't really have any tasks or any like work to do. So basically, this is a day where the lecturers will just throw information at you. They'll go over everything that you need to know for that week's task. Usually the stuff they're going over will link to like one of your assignments. At the moment, it'll probably be linking to your first assignment since you haven't started any assignments yet. Since some of the HNCers will be on like week 2 now, because my boyfriend's on week 2, that's how I know that. So it'd probably be starting to look at assignment stuff, but just like start with the basics. So you'll probably get like stuff to do on the Thursday that links to the assignment. But usually Mondays is always just listening. And I recommend that you don't do much studying after a Monday, because a Monday's exhausting, so all you're doing is sitting there listening the whole day. Um, which is, there's a lot of information to take in, because like I said, they give you a lot more information in HNC than they do in like a level 5 or 6. So I recommend you spend the end of that day just taking half an hour to read over the information, make sure you understand anything. And if there's any questions you need to ask the lecturers, just write them down so that they're there for like the tutorial day. So you can like ask them and that. It's definitely make use of the day. Don't like muck about or anything. Actually listen in the classes and take the information in, but like don't stress too much about it in the early days, but just like write down any questions you have, read over information, get used to like my learning, get used to the sources that you're get used to like the key texts that you need to use for the subjects. Like for example, sociology, use Haralampus, so maybe have a look at Haralampus and get used to the texts and that. Then you get some books from the library when you go into college. Because I know they're going in once a week this year, so that will really help. So get books and all that. But yeah, just like look over the information, but don't worry about doing too much revision after Monday, particularly at the moment when there's not really any assignments coming out as such. But it's important to like look over the information, make sure you understand everything, and because if you don't understand something and it comes to assignment, you're gonna really struggle in that part, and because your assignments are getting graded, they will basically determine your grade your first set of assignments. So it's important that you're asking for help and looking over that information. But yeah, Mondays is basically just listening, a whole day of like listening, taking information in, which can be quite overwhelming. But yeah, just make sure to like just make sure to like take notes on the really important parts if you can, and read over the information and all that, which is all I'd say for a Monday, really. I just realised I said lectures on the Monday. I don't even know if they have the exact same days for HNC this year. So I'm just assuming that, and obviously other colleges would have different days for the HNC classes, wouldn't they? So, but I mean, like lecture day, you'll know what I mean. You know, like the day where you just listen. But anyway, when it comes to like the days where you just have classes, like for example, my class day, I just had cancelling criminology, and the second half of the year did social anthropology, since criminology and social anthropology only take up half a year. So for classes, um like I said, just do like half an hour reading at them at this point in time. Like read the information, look over the sources, make sure you're understanding everything, and just take notes on the bits that are like most important. Obviously don't take down every single note, because that's not really sensible, particularly when they're given like 40 slides. You don't want to be taking note of 40 slides, particularly when you're going to have all these assignments later on. That would just be impossible to do all that workload. So just take down the notes that are most important and you think will be most relevant for your assignment. Like, so just like smart note taking, really. But yeah, basically though, it'd just be like sometimes we do group work, sometimes it'd be like tasks to do. Sometimes it'd just be the lecture talking the entire time. It just depended on the week, really. Sometimes you get like a form quiz or something, but it really depended on what we were doing and all that. But I found in Canson we got like a lot of reading homework. Sometimes we had like pages of worth of reading to do. So you don't have to necessarily do it on the day you get it though. You can do it another day if you're feeling too tired after getting all the information overload. So maybe on like one of your days off, you can, or even before you go to bed, just have a read of it. Even just like a skin read, so at least you're understanding it. But yeah, again, this is another day where it's not, the workload isn't too intense, because I find that on the class day it's usually not as long. Well, depending on how many classes you do. And I only did the cancelling criminology, But I knew some people did geography after criminology, so it would have been a longer day for them. Well, those people, some people didn't do like certain classes on the Thursday, for example. Everyone has to do psychology and sociology to begin with as they're mandatory, but when it came to like history, that wasn't mandatory, so some people didn't do that, for example. So it just depends what classes you do, but yeah. Again, I'd say Tuesday, just read over your notes once you finish the classes. Make sure you understand everything, and you should be okay with that. And if you got a short day on a Tuesday like me, maybe take that time to like um finish off homework and bits of work, so you don't have to worry about that stuff going into the tutorial day, But like I said, it depends on how many classes you have, as you may have more than two classes, because it depends what credits you take on your HNC. Now I'm going into tutorial day, which I think is probably the most important day. It's important to take breaks on all your college days. Whenever a lecturer says take a 15-minute break or a half an hour break, make sure to take it all, because tutorial day is going to be very exhausting. Do it any day, particularly on tutorial day when you're doing task after task and group work after group work. If you don't take those breaks, you'll be absolutely exhausted, and by the time you get to your last class, you'll probably crash down. So make sure you take those breaks. But yeah, tutorial day is like the most important day, because you have like tutor time where you like talk to your tutor, like just like it's just like to get help and guidance, and that if you're really struggling mentally or having troubles with the course, or if anything's going wrong, this is the time to talk about that. And then you've got your tutorials where you'll be doing like a lot of group work. It's important to actually interact with your group members, make friends, get to know them, even just generally chat with them to begin with before you even start the task. Don't stay in silence. Make sure you actually talk to your group mates, because you find that they'll know things that you don't know, because everyone learns differently. So we all know different things. So make sure you like talking to each other, because that's a big part of HNC, especially in social science, to be able to work in groups effectively, since there'll be a lot of group work at university. And then like any task you're given, don't worry if you don't finish it completely. Just try your best and give your best to 10, because that's all the lectures are looking for. Don't burn yourself out. Make sure to take breaks, and don't put too much strain on yourself if you don't get the answers perfect. Because at the end of the day, if you're perfect, what would be the point of you being on that course? You might as well just be on the level up, eh? So it's okay to make mistakes and get things wrong. Don't feel afraid to participate, join tutorials, because this is the time to like show yourself off. That's maybe not quite what I was thinking of saying there. There's a chance to shine. There's a chance to show what you've got, basically. So don't feel afraid to put your hand up and answer questions. I know like it can be quite anxiety provoking for some people, and with me being an autistic account, I totally get that. Some autistic people in particular find it really hard to put their hands up, due to like struggling to talk in front of others due to communication difficulties, and I totally get that. So if you're like that, make sure you talk to your lecturers about that so they understand. But don't worry about that. But just do your best. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Like, for example, I would come to sociology and I would do a ton of work. I'd try and finish the task off perfectly, do all the group work perfectly. I wouldn't take any breaks. I just want to get all done perfectly. Then I'd get to history and I'd crash down, wouldn't be able to do anything. And I ended up having to always finish early because I didn't have any energy left. Don't be this person. Make sure to take all the breaks. If you don't finish the work, don't worry about it, because you'll have plenty of chances to get it done, and that way you won't crash down in your next class and you'll actually last the entire day. So yeah, make sure to just try your best in the task, do your best in the group work, just participate if you can, and just don't worry too much about it. Just enjoy it, because tutorial days can be really fun if you just enjoy it and enjoy your learning. It can be fun learning from each other, and is a good day to like get to know people more, since you are just with your stream, and they can be really good, and you can get a lot of help as well. It's the best day to get help from lecturers and guidance, which comes in handy too. Don't feel afraid to ask for help, because I really struggled with asking for help in my HNC and thought I had to do it all by myself. But I look back and think, why did I not ask for help? I got help with that. I could have nailed that down way before, and I could have had that stress away, and not just with the work, mentally as well. Like, if I asked for help mentally earlier on, I could have got the help. Cause like, if you're finding the HNC really straining and overwhelming, ask for help as soon as you get that way, because I can tell you something. You may think a week one, oh, I'm being over dramatic. It's not that hard. Why am I acting this way? I can tell you it is really hard and it is a big step up from level 6. So don't feel afraid to ask for help because the lecturers totally understand. A lot of them have been in your boat. Some of them have actually done the HNC in college and know what it's like to be doing the HNC. They know how straining it is. They know how difficult it is. They totally get it. And they get the mental strain and impact it has on students because a lot of them have been there themselves. So talk to them because they'll totally understand the way you're feeling and will try and find ways for you to cope and just, do your best. Because, yeah, just enjoy tutorial day, especially at this point because you haven't got any assignments. So just like do the tasks asked of you, participate in the group work, participate in the conversations, and just have fun. Just enjoy it. Don't take it too seriously. And don't worry if you make any mistakes because that's natural. We're only human. Oh yeah, and with the tutorials, I say again, just half an hour recap once you're done with it. Look over all the readings, make sure you understand everything, make sure you've taken it all in. Any tasks you've not managed to get done, maybe try and get them finished. Don't worry if it's not the best or it's not perfect because we all make mistakes. Um, um, Even if you don't get the tasks finished, though, the lecturers are not going to be stressed out about it because you've got plenty of time to do that. Half the time, these tasks you do just link to your assignment anyway, and these questions or things or whatever will come up in your assignments, so you'll have time to practice it then. So you'll have plenty of time. You'll be able to make time for finishing off your work because during tutor time, we don't always have classes during tutor time, for example, so you can dedicate those hours to getting the work done, mean that you don't actually have to do it when you're out of college time, if you see what I mean. And we had another hour in between as well where sometimes get workshops, so there was 3 hours free during the week, so we're able to use them to get work done and all that, and take advantage of that rather than having to do it in our free time. So yeah, definitely don't worry if you don't get a task finished, as long as you just try your best and have fun with it. But yeah, next thing I want to talk about is uni applications and all that. This is the overwhelming part because I know that uni personal statements have to be done by early December so they can be reviewed for doing references and that. And I know a lot of you are probably sitting there and thinking, I don't know what I want to do at university. I'm struggling with that. I totally get it because psychology was what I set my heart on when I first went to social science because I loved it so much. I had an amazing lecture. That's what I wanted to do. Got to HNC, started struggling really badly with it to the point I actually had to drop out of Psych B and go down to the 12 credits, for mental health reasons too. I was really annoyed that I had to do that, but I knew it was for the best. So now that I'm actually leaning more towards social anthropology because I've really been enjoying that every year. There's not been a single assignment I've disliked with that. So that's probably what I'm going to do at university if I was to go. I don't know if I still want to go yet or not. I haven't put too much thought into it, but yeah, definitely. Just have a think about what you want to do in your future. Maybe think of one thing and maybe have a backup plan just in case if it doesn't work out. For example, you set your heart on university, you may not necessarily get in. I'm sure you will, but it can be difficult to get into university. So it's good to have a backup plan. If this doesn't work out, maybe I'll take a gap year and get a job in this so and so place that I've been wanting to do, or I will get an apprenticeship, or I'll do a HND. I don't know if the social science HND is running next year. I don't know about that, but you can do that if you wanted. You know what I mean? So there's many things you could do in the next year or so. But I'd say just have a think about it though. I didn't really think about it. I just set my heart on HND. I thought I'm going to do HND because I don't know what I want to do. So that's probably the best course of action. I didn't think of a backup plan, so this put me in a lot of stress when I was told that I should maybe drop down to 12 credits before I even started struggling with psychology. By the way, I was told this for mental health reasons and that, but I was very and arn about it because I wanted to do the 15 credits. I wanted to get the 15 credits with an A. I was determined, really determined. But then I dropped down and I was happy I did because I ended up just getting a B anyway, which I was happy with. But it's definitely better to put your mental health before work because you can always do college or uni anytime. Well, if you struggle with mental health so much to the point that you go down, that's it. It could be the end. So it's better to look at your mental health before doing any work. But yeah, just have a wee think about what it is you want to do. Because you want to go to uni, you have to have it done by December. So you've only got like 3 months. So you kind of got to think about these things quickly. If you feel like you're not ready for it, and you might as well just not go ahead and do it. I'd say only do it if you really, really want to. But yeah, just have a wee think about it, but don't stress yourself out too much about it because like life works out. It will work out, I promise. No matter what you go on to do next year, you'll do well. Like this year, I'm taking a gap year. I'm looking for jobs at the moment, and I'm going to be doing blogging alongside it. So I'm going to start doing more blogging. I'm hoping to start doing more blogs weekly since blogging is something I really love to do, as well as doing autism posts and reading, writing, playing Animal Crossing, all these kind of things. But yeah, I hope this tips of advice have helped. In terms of like studying like after college and during the weekends, how much should you do at this point? I'd personally say bare minimum. I'd say like just stick to doing half an hour after college of like reading over your notes, making sure you've understood it and all. And if there's any tasks that you need to get done or any homework you need to get done, maybe dedicate like I don't know, like an hour to that. Maybe on one of your tutor time sessions, maybe use the hour to get stuff like that done. So you don't have to do it in your free time. But if you really, really want to do like some work studying and want to like work on some things, I would say I would say maybe 8 hours a week at first. Quite honestly, I think that's fine. Like you don't have to be studying every single day at this point because there's no point. Um, 8 hours is fine, really. Well, it's maybe seven actually, because like you only have what if you're doing 15 credits, I think you do up to what 7 subjects. So if you do just like an hour per subject, that's fine. You don't need to do any more than that to begin with, because it's not like you have any assignments to write up at this point. You maybe get an assignment prep to do, like bits of writing to do at this point, and things to read for homework to go towards the assignment. But even just dedicating an hour to these things is fine. But I'd say keep it very bare minimum. Just enjoy the course at the moment. If you're in the college now, get used to the college, get used to all the facilities, get used to how teams work if you're using that. Just get used to the My Learning page, get to know the people in your course. Just enjoy it at this point in time. You don't really need to get extremely serious about HNC till you get out to the October break, 'cause that's when your assignments start coming on and it'll start hitting you assignment after assignment after assignment. So definitely enjoy this time and just try and keep your studying at bare minimum if you can. But even when you get fully into it, I'd say less is more. It's better to study smart than hard. Like, so it's better to do just a couple of hours a evening rather than doing like 10 hours in the evening, because that would put you in full out burnout mode. And I'd say if you're going to do reading, just do a bit of reading at night. Don't like read the whole Harlampus, because you're going to be really burnt out. Because that's like what I don't know how many pages, like 500 pages worth of reading. Like that would just be far too much and unrealistic. So set realistic goals. But at this moment in time, you shouldn't be worrying too much about work. And I didn't do too much work when I first started HNC. Like I said, I was only really doing half an hour of like reading over notes, making sure I understood anything. Maybe took like an hour during the week to like complete any homework and any bits of any tasks from the tutorials that I didn't manage to get done, things like that. But apart from that, I didn't really do much work to begin with. It wasn't until the second half year where I started studying all the time, to the point that I started to overstudy and really burn myself out. But we don't want to do that. So when it gets to the second half of the year, I'll definitely be doing a video on that, on how to present burnout and how to have a healthy study schedule. Because I didn't have a healthy study schedule for sure. So, and it's really important, more important than I realized actually. So, but at the start of the year, just enjoy it. Just get used to being in the course, get used to the people, just used to everything around you. Don't worry too much about full on studying, because it's not worth it at this point in time. Just try and keep it as minor as possible. Just make sure to keep on top of the work. And if you're the type of student that constantly procrastinates and finds it really difficult to break that habit, talk about it, because you don't want to be procrastinating during class time. Because I tell you something, if you don't do the work during class time, it's going to pile up more and more when you're off. To the point that you have so much work to do, you'll feel overwhelmed and you won't be able to keep up with it. So it's important to like manage your time well from day one. So whenever you get time to do a task during tutorial time, or get time to work on an assignment during class time, or if you've got tutor time free up and you've got no session on, definitely be getting on with work. Definitely just be using that time to like do homework, finish off any tasks you got, because you really don't want to go into like the October break, for example, with loads and loads of work to do. Because that's what happened to me. I ended up going to October break with like quite a bit of work to do because I got so overwhelmed by the workload and didn't talk to anyone about it. I just um ended up falling behind, which isn't really good. Well, if I spoke to someone about it and found a manageable way to get around it, I wouldn't have got into that situation, and the October break probably would have been a bit more relaxing for me. Okay, I wasn't extremely stressed out, but it would have meant that I wouldn't really have to do any revision at all during my October break, if not at all actually, because October break's meant for relaxing, not for studying really. Especially when that early in the year, you shouldn't even have to do work during the October break really, apart from maybe like reading over notes, I guess, but not full on work. But yeah, just make sure to keep on top of it. And if you're getting stressed and anxious and the workload is getting too much, make sure to speak to someone about it, and they can help you with like um scheduling your time and keeping up with it. But yeah, my best advice is just take the first part of college, just get settled in and get used to everything. Don't worry too much about like studying hard yet or anything. You shouldn't be starting hard anyway. Just stay smart. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you have a life outside of college. You still need to enjoy your life, live your life, look after your mental health and all that. But especially at this point in the year, just enjoy yourself and don't worry too much about the workload. I know it's very overwhelming, all this information being thrown at you and all the university talks. I get that. It's a lot to take in. You're probably thinking, oh my God, there's so much work. It's so overwhelming. I need to keep up with this. But honestly, the best solution is just to like ask for help right from the beginning. If you're like I'd say do a review of yourself. If you get a few weeks into the HNC and you're doing really, really well and you're really confident with it, then fantastic. Just keep on going and doing what you're doing. But if you get like a few weeks in and you're finding it really stressful and really anxiety provoking and it's getting too much for you, then definitely talk to someone and um get support in place before it's too late. It's better getting it now in place than me getting it in like February, when like more than halfway through the year, because it had such a negative impact to me. I may have got my B, but emotionally and mentally, I was suffering so much throughout the entire year, where I could have just got that help back in like September, October, and done, and not had all that mental struggle, and I would have probably had a much healthier like study schedule too, and I would have prioritized mental health more if I got like more help in place. If I spoke out earlier, so definitely speak out. Don't feel like you're being over dramatic if you're struggling, because it is really overwhelming and a lot of stress. Make sure to communicate to your lecturers if it's too much. But yeah, I'd say up to the first week, if you find it a bit stressful, don't bother speaking out, just because like everyone's going to feel overwhelmed in the first week because you're just getting used to it and all that. It's normal. But if you're still feeling stressed out after a few weeks, then it's definitely time to take the course of action in that. But yeah, I'd say just enjoy the start of your college journey and don't take it too seriously. Have fun, relax, enjoy yourself. Do the work obviously, but don't like get too overwhelmed if you don't finish tasks or struggle with pieces of work. 'Cause it's normal. We're all only human. We're going to struggle at times. We're going to fall at times. It's normal. It's just about having attitude and getting back up. You can do this. If I was able to do it, you definitely can do it. And I have the biggest faith in you that you can do this, and you're going to smash it, and you're going to get to the end. You're going to graduate this time next year, like I'm going to graduate in October, and it's going to be amazing. You're going to really enjoy it. Thank you guys for watching this blog. I hope you guys enjoyed the study tips and how to like study effectively when you first start HNC. You don't have to do too much study in the beginning because you're kind of just getting used to it. You're just getting used to everything around you, like the college building, the people, all the tools and my learning and all that. So you don't have to worry too much about studying that much. But just as long as you're doing tasks in class, you're participating in whatever way it is with people, or putting your hand up, or even just talking to lecturers afterwards, things like that will just go towards it, and just do your best, be yourself, and that's all you can do really, and just make sure you're understanding everything, but don't worry about like putting in a lot of work to begin with, because like I said, you're just getting used to it, and the lecturers are just trying to get back up on their feet as well after being off all summer, so you're all in the same boat, you all can do it. I want to wish luck to the students, not just to the students, but also to the lecturers as well, because I know the marking gets very stressful, especially in the second half of the year when people are giving up and you're trying to say to people, you need to keep going, you need to keep trying, like you're so close to passing it. I know the stress and the tension of all that as well. So I feel it for students and lecturers in the HNC course because there's so much work to get through and so much marking to get through. But you can all do it. I believe in you all. So yeah, good luck. And I'll do another video on this when assignments start to kick in. Because I know the first lot of assignments come in after the October break, and then they come in one after another. So I'm going to talk about how to effectively um how to work with time management when it comes to assignments, since it can be hard to like fit it all in and plan your word count, plan your references out, plan your parts out and all that. But there is ways to do it with making the SEO effective and everything. So that'll be for another video though when the HN series actually gets to that point. But I hope you guys enjoy this and hope these tips of advice maybe even help for our courses for all I know. But yeah, hope you all enjoyed it. Bye for now.